The surveillance footage is chilling in its calmness. A figure approaches the door, armed, masked, and carrying a very specific piece of equipment. But investigators are now looking past the gun and the backpack. They are focusing on a tiny, almost invisible detail in how this individual moves, and a specific tool clenched in their jaw that could dismantle the entire disguise. The Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI aren't just hunting a man. They are hunting a purchase history. To understand where this investigation is going, we must look at where it stalled. Nancy had eaten dinner with Annie and Tomas that night, allegedly played games, and was dropped off back at her house, a location roughly 4 miles or 10 minutes away. But since the announcement of a $50,000 reward, the silence has broken. Investigators report that the reward opened the floodgates, generating a surge of tips placing vehicles near highway mile marker 32 late that night. Behind the scenes, technical teams are analyzing geofencing data, looking for the digital footprint of 2 devices stopped on the side of the road in this desolate area. But everything now depends on whether the forensic analysis of a single vehicle and the dust inside it can prove a transfer of DNA occurred before the kidnapping even began. The clock is ticking, not just on finding Nancy, but on preventing the suspect from discarding the one piece of evidence that ties them to the crime scene. Why do agents keep returning to Annie and Tomas's neighborhood? We are told this is not the crime scene. Yet investigators are aggressively canvassing that backyard and the surrounding streets. This aligns with a grim statistical reality known in kidnap and ransom negotiation as the 70% rule. In the vast majority of cases, the perpetrator is someone connected to the victim or working in close proximity. This raises a critical question. Is the search of the neighborhood a standard procedure, or do authorities suspect the threat was closer to home than initially believed? The profile of the abduction itself presents contradictions. The location is not Manhattan. It is a desolate area with countless places to conceal a body. Authorities are now considering the possibility of a white van sighting that was previously overlooked. But there is a darker variable. Nancy has a known heart issue. If the violence of the abduction caused a medical emergency, similar to the tragic case of Sydney Riso, the Exxon executive who died 4 days into captivity, the kidnappers may now be stuck with a situation they did not plan for. History shows that even in such worst-case scenarios, negotiations can continue for weeks, driven by a professional element seeking a payout regardless of the victim's status. The investigation has now pivoted to a forensic hunt for 3 specific retail items captured on the Nest video. Law enforcement sources indicate they are isolating the gloves, the gun, and, most critically, a highly distinctive backpack with reflective patches or lights on the shoulder straps. This isn't just about identifying the gear, it is about tracing the transaction. The footage reveals a suspect who appears prepared, yet the execution contains bizarre flaws. The individual attempts a tap-tap thing to disable the Nest camera, which fails. They are forced to retreat, returning with vegetation to obfuscate the lens. But the physical movement of the suspect has triggered a debate among analysts. There is a noticeable alteration in their gait, an awkwardness when bending over that suggests either a nagging injury or a deliberate attempt to disguise their walk. Is this a former law enforcement officer or military veteran trying to mask their identity? Or is the bulky appearance the result of wearing leggings under pants to distort their body shape? The most promising lead, however, may be in the suspect's mouth. Viewers and experts have identified what appears to be a specialized mouth flashlight, a tool often used by airline mechanics or electricians who need to keep their hands free, activated by biting down. This is a forensic goldmine. If the suspect removed that light from their mouth with gloved hands, saliva transfer is highly probable. Those same gloves then touched surfaces in Nancy's home. Furthermore, a photo released by Cash Patel and provided by the FBI shows what appears to be the same figure but without the backpack. In this image, the eye holes of the mask are not visible and the gun is unseen. This suggests the suspect may have conducted an initial probe, of the property to test the silence of the house before returning with the backpack to commit the abduction. The forensic implications of these details are massive. Just as Brian Koberger was traced through the Amazon purchase of a K-bar knife, investigators are likely scouring the purchase histories of family members and contractors for this specific backpack and mouth flashlight. Even the vehicle is being scrutinized for transfer. Investigators aren't just looking for blood, they are looking for disturbed dust. If a suspect used a flashlight inside Nancy's car, the simple act of swiping away dust could preserve a touch point for DNA testing. The legal reality is that while the 70% rule points to a close contact, the physical evidence, the specialized flashlight, the backpack, and the gait will be what secures a warrant. Authorities are currently contacting manufacturers and retailers to identify who bought these specific items. The focus is narrowing on the backpack and the flashlight as the primary traceable assets. We know that dive teams have not yet been reported in the reservoirs or retaining ponds of Tucson, a step that typically follows when a specific suspect is identified. As the FBI runs down the retail leads, the next major break will likely come from a transaction record. If that backpack was purchased online or with a card, the anonymity of the figure on the porch will vanish. The question remains, when the mask comes off, will the face be a stranger or someone Nancy knew all along?